I hear a lot of discussions online about how people feel about Patreon and how people feel like, how can you, give money to content creators. But I mean, I think it's like anything else because their argument is like, well, there's starving children in Africa. Why are you giving these guys, money to make videos? Well, we don't always dwell on those things. I mean, a lot of people who make the accusation most of the time aren't really doing anything themselves to fix the problem. So either you're giving to charities and nonprofit organizations in your local community, or you're giving to the international ones that go off and shenade to those countries. you know Really what people spend their money on is really nobody's actual business per se. So it's like if you decide to kick a content creator like an animator, $2 because he made a great animation, well, that's cool. You support him and keep doing what he loves doing for content you want to keep seeing. Same thing with a lot of awesome illustrators that I follow on Patreon all the time. Amazing illustrators. They do great work that I enjoy, and you might kick them $1 or two or however, or become a Patreon on, you might become a Patreon on their page. So I think that like if you want to give money to anybody, a content creator of any type, from a photographer to a filmmaker to a professional illustrator, to your favorite news, personality, either it be gaming to tech news to political news, whatever it might be, that's your decision to do so. I don't think like it's anybody's right to criticize. I was watching the video on YouTube, and I've seen people's arguments about crowd-funded type of support of content creators, and it's like some people are very like, well, you guys shouldn't be doing that. Why are you giving them money to do this? It's like, well, because we like their content and want them to continue that. A lot of people who make content online that have big Patreons, I mean, they work really hard on their content. Originally, they were busting their butt for no money, just doing it because they loved to do it. They didn't care about making money at all. They just wanted to share their creations with people. And then now, like on a lot of illustrators I follow, they make maybe not a living off of their Patreon, but they make a good amount of money so they can work maybe the job they're at now to pay their bills, to help pay for the things they need to keep creating the art that people want to keep seeing. And I feel like what happened on YouTube with the apocalypse that's kind of ended, but you still feel the shockwaves of it of a lot of people out there in YouTube land, is you have to diversify what you do. You have to diversify your income streams. You just can't have like AdSense anymore because it's not reliable anymore. You have to have a Patreon. You have to have, Vidme's a great site because it has the tip jar and it has, different things, and monetization is slowly rolling in. So there's a lot of these things that are helping with the diversification for content creators to make money enough so that they can pay some bills. Now, I kind of go back and forth on the school of thought. Like, if you're a content creator, should you be completely reliant on Patreons and AdSense, back before the apocalypse? I would think that you need to be balanced financially. You have to have it where you have, even if you make a lot of money on Patreon, you make a lot of money on AdSense, or you did make a lot of money on AdSense back in the day and sponsored ads. I think because of the nature of like the work that we do is content creators, and the work that many other extremely talented people do, the content creators, you have to look at it more like, well, I made this much money this day, but like the next day or the next month, I might not make as much money, and I have consistent bills that are always the same. So I don't feel like you should completely rely on it as if like it's your lifeline for survival. I think you should diversify from multiple different things and promotion of your content, and also maybe just have a part-time job, that you work in the morning, and then in the afternoon you're focused on content creation. Maybe you're an artist and maybe you teach, a couple classes at a community college, for extra money. Like your job is or you work in a technical field and you're like a tech YouTuber, so you work IT for like 4 hours in the morning or however long, but it's part time, so you can make content and do videos people like to see, and then you got different avenue streams, and things are going well, and people are enjoying your content, and you're able to pay your bills, independently of whether or not everyone stopped giving you money on Patreon or AdSense failed, which had earlier this year for a lot of YouTubers. And I think that the fact that it's happened is made created this shift in thinking where it's like, okay, oh man, I have to make sure that I have money for all these bills now. Like AdSense back in last year in 2016, I mean it was killing it. I mean guys were making a lot of money. I mean they were able to live comfortably, take care of their families, save for retirement, and they're making legitimate incomes just off of AdSense with no other advertising. And that's great, but because this ad things happened with that apocalypse, it's created a situation where you have to diversify what you do, and you have to be focused on, okay, I made this much, I got to save this much, I got to make sure this is okay, I got to do this sponsor thing. It becomes, it's almost like your channel becomes a business, and I wonder if it gets away from like the creation process. Like a thing for illustrators and people who do a lot of awesome art that just have Patreon and then also do some YouTube stuff also. I wonder if what the degree of stress is, because truth be told, I have a relatively small channel on both YouTube and on VidMe. So to me, I just make gaming news. This is really a gaming vlog, honestly. I'm not doing professional illustration. It takes a lot of talent, a lot of hard work. I'm not doing professional photography or film stuff. I'm not doing a lot of the animation. I'm not doing a lot of the really time consuming, extremely talented things. Now in my own private practice, I study film, I do professional photography, but that's not what this channel is about. So I understand the amount of work it takes to do animation, because I've done animation, but it's like I'm not doing that, for this channel. I just wanted to kind of hang out, talk about games, have conversations. That's really what the focus of this channel is. Now, later on, I might have other channels that cater to those other things once I feel like I can really go out and do that. But I think it's important just for this right here. I have mad respect for all those guys that have really technically focused channels, and they work really hard to provide awesome content to people. And I think it's great that they can be supported independently of AdSense, independently of just of sponsorships, where the fans are able to give them the means to be able to keep doing what they're doing without having to worry about ads. And I think it's really speaks to a lot of different things, from how much people love their stuff, and it gives them freedom. A lot of news, like a lot of political YouTubers love that, the Patreon, because people are helping them be able to speak their mind without worrying about demonetization of their content. So they're not worrying about that anymore. They just say whatever they want to say, and they just be themselves, and they can be as off color as they want to, and the fans support them to keep doing that. They're not worrying about the demonetization of their content. So whatever your creative niche is, whatever you do, whatever kind of content you provide to people that people are willing to pay you for, and you feel good about what you're doing, that's great. If you love the content, support the content, and just go forth and be happy, and be cool with it. But I just think that people that try to make it seem so much as if like you're taking people's money, and they're not. People are giving them the money. They're giving them money so they can do what they love, for people who want to see more of what they do because they enjoy their content. So it's not a thing about like you're taking people's money. It's like, I mean, you're not. It's like they're giving you the money so you can continue to do what they enjoy seeing from you. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm getting all scatterbrained now, but you get the idea. You support your creators, support people that you love, support content that you love, and that's all I really have to say. I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts down below, and have a good one.